Hi, welcome back to another edition of the Coach's Corner. Today we'll be previewing the Steelers versus Browns. Clayton, what are your thoughts?
Oh, going right into it, man. The the big game for the Browns. Steelers are in. They've already decided we're going to sit Big Ben. Browns got to win to have a chance to get in because there's about four teams in the AFC right now with a chance to poach for the spot. And man, this is probably the most talented. I mean, would you guys agree this is probably the most talented Browns team we've seen in a decade?
I think maybe not most. I mean, it is talented. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's just the most well-coached team the Browns have had. Because they've added some pieces, from last year to this year, but a lot of the core guys are the same. I think it's just finally you have a guy in Kevin Stefanski that can just manage this team and coach this team. But yeah, talent-wise,
Right.
it's definitely up there.
So you're looking at that and you're saying if not now, when, Browns fans? If not with this team, then when will we ever begin? So this is almost I don't want to put more importance on a game than what there is, but for a franchise that struggled to just have hope and consistency and, say we're here, we don't suck anymore, essentially, this is a big game for the Browns as a franchise, for the Browns fans, going forward.
Yeah, for sure. Isaac, what are your thoughts?
Well, this is another game that we look at where we're like, Cleveland should win this game. Pittsburgh is resting Big Ben. They're probably going to come out and break some news that they're, going to sit other players, the running backs, wide receivers, whatever. They're pretty much going to have their B team out there. But they just played a B team last week, and they lost to them. So I don't think Browns fans are going into this thinking it's going to be a cakewalk. This is going to be another AFC North battle, and it would be a shame to see Cleveland miss out on the playoffs after just a strong, great year that they put together. And 2 weeks ago, we would have never thought that they'd be in this position right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I think that the nice thing, I guess, for the Browns is Jarvis Landry will be back. He was a full participant on Friday's practice with a hip. And so he'll have his receivers back, but I think the big problem for them this week is going to be defensively. If they have both their starting linebackers out with ankle injuries, I think that'll hurt them. But thankfully that the Steelers don't really run the ball that well. I mean, they'll probably make more of a conceded effort to run the ball this week with Rudolph in and try to just establish that. Try to establish that this week. But I would think that that this is going to be a get right game for the Browns. Not only just to win to get in, but they can still get in, I believe, without winning, as long as like the Colts, for example, were to lose, which I don't think they will. That's a very favorable matchup for them. So they got to win, get in, and win and get right this week. And I think that starts with just getting back to running the football. Like we said earlier when we were reviewing the Browns game, they got away from the run. I mean, this week, just stay on the run. This is a perfect week to get into playoff mode by running the ball and playing defense.
This isn't going to be a gimme game, though. Pittsburgh still could get the number 2 seed if they win this game, and Buffalo takes the L to Miami because they're resting their players as well. So don't expect, Pittsburgh to put all the players in there. I think what I'm saying is I think there's still going to be a couple receivers that usually play that are going to play in this game, like a James Washington, maybe even keep Claypool in there. Big Ben's definitely resting. I think Benny Snell is going to be carrying the bulk of the carries. So don't count the Steelers out because even though they're sitting players, they still have something to play for in this game.
The 4 players that I'm reading right now that at least have been set or sitting out, it's Big Ben, Marquise Pouncey, Cameron Hayward, and TJ Watt. And then 2 players that are out, Tramel Edmonds and Chris Boswell. So yeah. Those 6 players will be out. Otherwise, I think they'll probably play the rest of them. So, yeah, it's by no means a gimme game. A big one, I guess, for the for the Browns, injuries wise, I mean, where is it? Wyatt Teller, I guess, is questionable, which is huge because I think that he was a guy for a while that they're like, you could always trade him. I think now they're really starting to see the importance because he's a perfect scheme fit, not outside zone. J.C. Trutter's back, which is huge because Nick Harris, the backup center, another very, very good scheme fit guy, is out. But the big thing for him is their bookend tackles are healthy with Jedrick Wills and Jack Conklin are both healthy, which is going to be huge for Baker, I think. And also just that running game, which in turn helps Baker, not just through pass protection, but being able to run the football. But yeah, I mean, as far as predictions are concerned, I think it's going to be a close game. I think that the Steelers are still going to play the Browns, very, very, very tightly. I do think the Browns win this because I think that Kevin Stefanski has what it takes to kind of rally the troops and kind of make that those adjustments for their playoff push. And I think that if they can get back to running the football, and it doesn't have to necessarily be Nick Chubb running for 120 and then another 80 yards on the ground for Hunt where they combine for 200 yards. They just need the threat to be there so that play action pass is open. Since now they have all their receivers healthy again, they can rely on that play action pass that Baker Mayfield played really well with.
Mm-hmm. I think though, if Deontay Johnson, Juju, Claypool, Eric Ebron, if they all play in this game, and then most of the defenders outside the guys that you already excluded, I could really see Pittsburgh winning this game.
The only issue,
and it'd be such a game that Cleveland would lose, and like we've seen in recent years, they've had a talented team and they could never do it. This would be such a heartbreaking tragedy to the fan base in Cleveland if they lost this game.
They haven't had a word on Deontay Johnson yet. He didn't practice Friday. It was due to an illness. So, I mean, I think he'll play, but he might be limited.
Mm-hmm.
I think, too, a big factor in this is the attitude of Baker Mayfield. And what I mean by that is we see whenever he's the underdog and people count him out and say he's no good, he gets that chip on his shoulder and he does everything perfectly and he executes because he's sharp mentally. He's there. He wants to prove him wrong. He loves being that guy. He loves playing the spoiler, right? But just like the Jets, like you said, Isaac, you show up to play the B team and you play like the B team. You get shown up by the Jets. So I think a big thing too is we've kind of got some mixed reports. So what is he thinking? Is he reading into this thinking, oh, this is going to be a win for us? We're probably going to see the bad Baker Mayfield. If he comes into it thinking, people are making fun of me after that poor Jets performance I had. After losing to the Jets, people are clowning me. That's whenever you get the hyper-focused Baker, really attuned and really good quarterbacking. And so, that's kind of a storyline that's flying under the radar is what's his attitude going to be like coming into this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that'll determine the outcome.
Yeah, another development real quick. Looks like Joe Hayden tested positive for COVID, so not only will he miss this game, he's actually going to miss the first playoff game too because of 2 weeks.
That's big.
Wow.
That is big. Wow. But any final thoughts, guys? Any predictions, score predictions?
I think the Browns are going to find a way to lose this game. That's my prediction.
How do you feel, Clayton?
I really want to be positive for the Browns and the city of Cleveland. But Isaac's confidence in the fact that the Browns are going to Brown has got me persuaded to think that they're going to find a way to lose. So I gotta agree with him.
I think that this year we were hoping that taking the Browns to the Super Bowl wouldn't be a phrase for taking a dump anymore, but I think that it'll be another phrase for taking a dump for another year because I think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I'll pick the Browns to win 27-20. Or you know what? No, 27-21. We'll give them 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
All right. But if you think we got it wrong, don't be afraid to let us know in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notification bells, and thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of the Coach's Corner.